This is the VOA Special English Education Report. Today, we answer a question from a listener in Colombia. John Anderson wants to know the costs of undergraduate and graduate study in the United States. Well, the first thing to know is that prices are different from school to school. Private colleges and universities generally cost more than public ones. Another thing to keep in mind is that not all students pay a school's published price. Financial aid and scholarships may reduce the cost. Here are a few numbers for this school year from the College Board Organization. The average published price for undergraduate study at a four-year public college was about $7,000. That was for students from in-state. Students from other states, as well as international students, paid an average of more than $18,000. This is the bad news. International students often have to pay the highest prices. And these averages were only for tuition and fees. Food, housing, books, and supplies can add $10,000 to $12,000 a year. The College Board says the average tuition at a private college was about $26,000. Many students save money by starting their education at a two-year public college, also known as a community college. The average tuition this year was about $2,500. A few American colleges provide a free education, including the military and merchant marine academies. They accept some foreign students. Berea College is a small Christian school in Berea, Kentucky that pays all first-year costs for its foreign students. But they are expected to pay $1,000 a year after that. Summer jobs are provided to help meet this cost. Costs for graduate study in the United States also differ from school to school and even from program to program. Here, too, public universities charge more for out-of-state tuition. For example, at the University of Kentucky, out-of-state graduate tuition averaged about $18,000 this year. In-state was about $9,000. American students often have to take out loans to help pay for their education. President Obama recently signed into law a bill that changes the student loan system. We'll have more on that next week. And international students can learn much more about studying in the United States on our website. Look for the Foreign Student Series at voaspecialenglish.com. And that's the VOA Special English Education Report.
This is the VOA Special English Health Report. Researchers say American children now eat an average of 3 snacks a day between meals. A study found that those snacks add up to almost 1/3 of all the daily calories eaten by children. And those extra calories could help explain the rise in overweight children in the United States. The study was done at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The researchers studied the diets of 31,000 children ages 2 to 18 over a 30-year period. They found that snacking has increased since the 1970s. And what kinds of snacks have increased the most? Salty, high-fat foods like chips. The study also found greater snacking on cake, cookies, and other treats that past generations might have saved for after dinner. The study is in the journal Health Affairs. Nutrition professor Barry Popkin was the lead investigator. He says parents should limit snacks to 1 a day for children age 6 and older. He also advises parents and caregivers to provide healthy snacks like fruits and vegetables. Professor Popkin says American schools also need to improve their nutrition. For example, schools may have vending machines that offer what many people would consider junk food. There has been a push for schools to offer more healthful snacks and lunch choices and fewer sugary drinks. In March, Coca-Cola said it would stop selling sugary drinks in American schools unless parents requested them. Its competitors at Pepsi announced that they will stop sales of sugar drinks to schools worldwide. America's top public health officer wants to see more changes like this. Surgeon General Regina Benjamin recently spoke to lawmakers about making healthy foods more available. She says there is growing agreement that healthy choices should be easy and affordable. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, who has talked about his own childhood struggles with weight, agrees about the need. First Lady Michelle Obama is leading a campaign to fight childhood obesity. Public health officials reported in January that 17% of American children are severely overweight. And that's the VOA Special English Health Report. For more health news, visit us at our website, voaspecialenglish.com. You can also download our programs and comment on our stories. This is the VOA Special English Education Report. Last week, we told you that the number of foreign students in the United States had reached an all-time high. More than 671,000 foreign students attended an American college or university during the last school year. So says the latest report from the Institute of International Education. Many international students choose large schools, but a growing number of them are attending smaller ones. Douglas Bennett is the president of Earlham College, a liberal arts college in Richmond, Indiana, that actively seeks foreign students. He says Earlham is a small college, just 1,200 students, but about 15% of the undergraduates come from homes outside the United States. This is very high for an American college or university. Doug Bennett has written several articles aimed at helping students choose a college that best fits their needs. He says one of the important things to consider is the size of a school. He says Earlham College is small for a reason. He says, "We're that small because we think we educate much more effectively and much more powerfully. Of course, there are also good arguments for attending a larger school. Many big schools are widely recognized, and in some cases that might lead to more job interviews than a degree from a lesser-known college. Larger schools also have more money. This can mean more resources for education, recreation, and research. In addition to size, Douglas Bennett says there are other important things to consider. For example, which programs at the school are the strongest? Some schools have stronger programs in the sciences. Others are stronger in the liberal arts. Also, what do the school's top students do after they graduate? What kinds of activities are offered that might add to the educational experience? Are there sports teams? Something else to consider is the kinds of services that a school offers for international students. But Earlham College President Douglas Bennett says one choice tops all others. He says, the most important choice you make in going to college is who you choose to be yourself. If you're prepared to bring your best self to college, then it hardly matters where you go to college. And that's the VOA Special English Education Report. This is the VOA Special English Health Report. South Africa plans to test 15 million people for HIV by June of next year. That is almost 1/3 of its population. South Africa has the most people living with HIV of any nation. The number of infected men, women, and children is estimated at more than 5.5 million, or 11% of the population. President Jacob Zuma launched the testing campaign on April 25th in Johannesburg. He announced the results of his latest blood test for HIV. He said the results in April, like the 3 earlier ones, were negative for the HIV virus. He said he was sharing the results to support openness and understanding. The country's former president, Thabo Mbeki, was known for the unaggressive way his government dealt with AIDS. He questioned whether HIV even caused the disease. The new testing and counseling campaign started at a single location in each of South Africa's 9 provinces in April. The program will be expanded every 2 months until 52 health centers are offering the service. The government says it will also expand treatment and support services. Francois Venter is a senior director in the Reproductive Health and HIV Research Unit at the University of Witwatersrand. He says the testing campaign may put additional stress on the health system, but that will show where the weaknesses are. He says knowing which areas of the system are going to cause future problems will make the effort worthwhile, even if the goal of 15 million is not reached. The South Africa National AIDS Council is heading the campaign. The council includes government representatives, medical experts, and health activists. The theme of the campaign is, "I am responsible." We are responsible. South Africa is taking responsibility. Along with HIV, South Africa also has high rates of diabetes, high blood pressure, and tuberculosis. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi says the campaign will be used to improve all health care. People who get tested for HIV will also get other services, including screening for blood pressure, blood sugar, and TB. In June, the eyes of the football world will be on South Africa when it becomes the first African country to host the World Cup. And that's the VOA Special English Health Report. For more health news, go to voaspecialenglish.com.
This is the VOA Special English Education Report. In February, students from 103 universities in 88 countries took part in an international computer programming contest. It was called the Battle of the Brains. The competition took place in Harbin, China. 3-person teams from each school had 5 hours to solve 11 real-world problems. Jerry Kane coached the team from Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. He says the problems involved, among other things, paperweights, robots, castles, and lakes. The students first listed the problems in order of difficulty. Then, they figured out the requirements of each. They designed ways to test their solutions. And they wrote the needed software systems. The winning team was from Shanghai Jiaodong University in China. But even that team was not able to solve all the problems within the given time limit. Stanford's team solved 5 problems and finished in 14th place. Stanford was one of 21 American universities that took part in the contest this year. The official name of the Battle of the Brains is the ACM International Collegiate Programming Contest. It began in 1970 at Texas A&M University. The contest quickly became popular in the United States and Canada. It developed and grew as more and more schools took part in local and area contests. The first final competition was held in 1977 at the Association for Computer Machinery Computer Science Conference. Today, a network of universities holds area competitions that send the winners to the World Finals, now organized by IBM. Contest spokesman Doug Heinzman says the world champions receive prizes and scholarships. They are also guaranteed an offer of employment or internship with IBM. He said past world champions are now working on some of the leading edge materials in science and physics. One world finalist from China has been working on the Watson supercomputer. So this competition is a chance to be recognized and to work for some of the top technology and research companies around the world. And that's the VOA Special English Education Report. You can read all our reports and send comments to our newly redesigned website at voaspecialenglish.com.
I'm Mario Ritter with the VOA Special English Agriculture Report. Cacao, or cocoa trees, grow in hot, rainy areas of Africa, Asia, and Central and South America. Their beans are used to make cocoa powder, cocoa butter, and of course, chocolate. There are 5 to 6 million growers, maybe more. Many are poor family farmers with only a few hectares. West Africa produces more than half of all cocoa beans. Ivory Coast leads the world in production, followed by its neighbor Ghana. The trees are usually in their 5th year when they start to grow the pods that contain the beans. The trees produce the most pods when they are 10, but they are still productive long after that. Workers use large knives to cut the lower pods and long tools to remove pods from high on the trees. Later, they break open the pods to remove the beans. A half gram of chocolate requires about 400 beans. The World Cocoa Foundation says an average pod contains 20 to 50 beans. And experts say growers may lose perhaps 1/3 of their harvest to disease and insects. But now scientists have genetic maps of 2 kinds of cocoa trees. These genomes are mostly complete and could lead scientists to new ways to increase production and prevent disease. Mapping genes is the first step to understanding an organism. Next comes learning the job of each gene. The American food company Mars took the lead in paying for mapping the genes of the Forastero cocoa tree. The Forastero provides 80 to 90% of the world's cocoa beans. Mars depends on those beans for its M&Ms and other chocolate candies. The company's research partners included several universities and the United States Department of Agriculture. The average West African cocoa farmer produces about 400 kilos of beans per hectare. But Howard Yana Shapiro, head of plant science and external research at Mars, thinks that science could greatly increase the yield. A competitor of Mars, Hershey's, supported the gene mapping of the Criollo, a far less common cocoa tree. CIRAD, a French government research center, led scientists from 6 countries in creating that genome. We'll talk more about the cocoa industry next week when we look at efforts to help child laborers in Ivory Coast and Ghana. For VOA Special English, I'm Mario Ritter. You can read and listen to our reports at voaspecialenglish.com.
This is the VOA Special English Agriculture Report. Scientists have discovered more details about how plants use water. Their findings could help to engineer plants that grow better and more effectively in conditions with higher levels of carbon dioxide. Plants naturally take in carbon dioxide they need for photosynthesis, the process of changing light energy to chemical energy. The carbon dioxide enters the plants through tiny holes or pores on the surface of leaves. However, each time a plant takes in 1 molecule of carbon dioxide gas, it loses hundreds of water molecules. Scientists say plants lose 95% of the water they take in through these pores. Some plants' pores can tighten to save water during conditions of high carbon dioxide. Other plants are not able to do this as well. Now, scientists know how these tiny pores tighten in plants. Julian Schroeder is a professor of biology at the University of California, San Diego. Mr. Schroeder says that carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere are much higher now than they were in the past. However, he says, many plants are not closing their pores in order to hold in more water. He and his team have identified proteins that control the tightening of a plant's pores. The proteins are enzymes called carbonic anhydrases. The findings were published in the journal Nature Cell Biology. Mr. Schroeder believes the enzymes could be changed in some plants to increase their ability to store water. The researchers added carbonic anhydrase genes to plants that do not react to higher levels of carbon dioxide. They observed that for every molecule of carbon dioxide taken in by the plants, they lost 44% less water. The scientists say the photosynthesis process continued normally in these plants. They say this suggests that changing plants to save more water will not affect plant growth. This method might be used to help engineer food crops that are resistant to extremely dry conditions. The discovery could help farmers meet a growing demand for food as water supplies decrease. However, the scientists say more research is needed. And that's the VOA Special English Agriculture Report. For transcripts, MP3s, and podcasts of our reports, visit us on the web at voaspecialenglish.com. This is the VOA Special English Agriculture Report. Some people say broccoli looks like small trees and cauliflower like gathered clouds. They think broccoli is only green and cauliflower is only white. But these nutritious vegetables also come in more colorful versions. One kind of cauliflower, for example, is orange, and broccoli can be purple. Broccoli and cauliflower are among the most nutritious vegetables. They are high in vitamin C, fiber, and other nutrients. And they contain substances that are believed to fight cancer. They belong to the cabbage or cole family. Other members include cabbage, collards, Brussels sprouts, kale, and kohlrabi. Agriculture experts at the Ohio State University Extension say broccoli and cauliflower grow best in cooler climates. They suggest planting them where the average daily temperature is between 18 and 26 degrees Celsius. Both crops grow best in sunshine and fertile, moist soil, but water should not be standing on the soil. Using mulch helps keep the ground moist and cool. Mulch also helps feed the soil and controls weeds. Broccoli and cauliflower can grow outdoors from seed or as small plants. Vincent Fritz of the University of Minnesota Extension suggests that results are far better with small plants. He says the vegetables should be planted so that they can be harvested before the hottest weather. Experts differ about how to space the plantings in the ground. One suggestion is to plant them in rows about 3/4 of a meter to nearly 1 meter apart. Then place broccoli plants about 20 to 30 centimeters apart in the rows. Set cauliflower plants 38 to about 46 centimeters from each other in the rows. As it grows, a cauliflower plant will start to form a head. The head contains flower buds that are tightly closed and at least 2 leaves wrapping it. Gather and tie the leaves over the head and do not wait for the buds to separate before harvesting. Harvest the center flower bud cluster of broccoli when it reaches the size you want and while the buds are still tightly together. Cut the main stem about 12 to 15 centimeters below the head. You can eat broccoli and cauliflower raw, or you can steam them in a small amount of water or stir-fry them in a small amount of oil. The less time they cook, the better. And that's the VOA Special English Agriculture Report.